Harder is a matter of perspective. Not necessarily difficulty, but again, difficulty can really be interpreted many different ways. So I have the monster manual. I have several other books from Wizards of the Coast that have monsters in them, and I have both Kobold Press Tome of Beasts 1 and 2, not the third one just as of yet. And for me, there are three major differences that I see between Wizards of the Coast monsters and Kobold Press monsters. This first point is a little bit more nuanced, but I feel Kobold Press does a much better job with its CR, or its challenge rating for its monsters. They seem a little bit more on par as far as setting that difficulty for that monster. As I've discussed in a previous video, the CR rating of some of the monsters from the manual, the monster manual, have an assassin, a regular humanoid assassin, have a CR8, and a young brass dragon at a CR8 as well, and there is no shot that those are the exact same challenge or difficulty rating. So I definitely feel Kobold Press does a much better job at this. The very powerful monsters in that book are significantly more powerful, and you can see that in all of their stats. Point number 2, I think Kobold Press has more unique abilities and more nuanced and varied abilities than the Monster Manual. I think Wizards of the Coast was really trying to standardize like a core set, like 50 to 75 or so abilities, and reuse those abilities in all of their monsters. When it comes to Kobold Press, the more unique and exotic a monster was, the more varied and specific those abilities were, and I think that adds a great amount of flavor. When you can create a monster and you can absolutely twist and contort the mechanics to do incredibly nuanced and specific things, that is what makes that monster stand out. Take the Eater of Dust for example. This creature has Weapon Bond and Unending Hunger as its abilities, and you will not see either of those abilities in any other monster in the book. That's what makes this one particularly unique. I also love the Chained Angel here as well. It has an ability called Dark Halo, is immune to direct damage spells from divine casters. That is very specific, a very nuanced ability, but again, makes it all the more exotic. And my third and final point, I think Kobold Press just has way cooler and way more unique and a much greater variety of monsters in the Monster Manual. Yes, you're going to have more common things like bugbears and werebears and all that, but you also have incredibly unique exotic monsters like Baba Yaga's Horseman. Very cool, you need to look up these stat blocks. And what exactly would you throw at a party who has seen it all? They've fought it all, they've done it all. Well, you throw a snake with 100 mage hands at them. Just, it's ridiculous. So yes, Kobold Press also has a great variety of what's almost spoof monsters, but these things are incredible, and if used in the right way, they can be just as menacing as anything else. And yeah, I don't think Wizards of the Coast is really deserving of any more of our money, so go get yourself a Kobold Press.